Yo, what's good, YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the I almost said Pokemon backwards. The Ninamori Nation Draft League Season 2, Week Number 2, and we're taking on the Dallas Deoxys, coached by Predator, who is supposedly a showdown ladder player, really solid OU player. Basically, whenever we found out we were playing each other, he said, okay, OU player or a ladder player versus draft player. So I got really excited and felt like, since, he feels like a ladder player, he's got to have some sort of knowledge and whatnot. So I got super excited to have a player, a battle against a ladder player. I love playing against ladder players and people that, take it a little bit serious, take their prep a little bit more, to the next level and stuff. So, that being said, facing off against the Dallas Deoxys, like I mentioned, coach of the Blackmont Raikougars here, and yeah, we've got a fun squad. Saying we haven't made any changes since week 1. We have Mega Venusaur, Z Latios, Manaphy, Cobalion, Mimikyu, Donphan, Z Talonflame, Licky Licky, Sneasel, and Electros. Our opponent has the Mega Charizard X, Tapu Fini, the Ferrothorn, Porygon 2, Gligar, Feraligatr, Z Butterfree, Z Weavile, Honchkrow, and the Swampert. So, yeah, he's got 2 of Violet users, so knockoff looks pretty solid versus his team. It'll be solid to get rid of, things like on leftovers on Fini, leftovers on Ferrothorn. Same thing for Swampert and potentially a Life Orb on Feraligatr or something like that. So I felt like knockoff spam was really, really good against this team, despite him having a Fairy, 2 Dark types, and a Mega Charizard X. I still felt like this matchup was not really in either of us' favor. I feel like if it was in anybody's favor, it maybe be in his favor since he has Zard X and it's a monster, especially for in the draft league when you can prep, the exact way you want to for Mega Charizard X to run through a team because you know what checks and counters you may have. Anywho, we've decided that since he's got, potentially Hazard Stack with Spikes and Stealth Rocks, potentially, I don't think Ferrothorn actually gets Toxic Spikes, but his way of removing is actually Defog, and so he would have to remove hazards off my side of the field if he wants to keep his Charizard healthy and whatnot, and his Butterfree, Honchkrow, and so on and so forth. And Weavile doesn't like taking rocks every time it comes in. 5 rock switch-ins, it's gone, unless you EV wrong, and then it just takes 4. So, and that's without taking any other damage. So my opponent's got a pretty scary squad, like I mentioned, and I felt like we've prepared just the best we can. He has 3 water types, which is kind of not a huge deal. We have Mega Venusaur, we have Manaphy, so like I didn't think that was a huge deal with 3 water types. I felt like his biggest threat to my team was going to be the Mega Charizard X and the Weavile, potentially a Butterfree. I haven't actually seen what happened last season, but apparently Butterfree has put in the work and people are giving it some respect. So I'm definitely not going to sleep on it. My opponent has the ability to run, Ice Shard or Sucker Punch on Weavile and Honchkrow respectively. He can run like Agility, Gligar, so he's got, different ways of speed control, Quiver Dance, Dragon Dance, and Dragon Dance on 2 Mons, Quiver Dance on Butterfree, the Dragon Dance Mons being the 2 Mons on the left, Charizard X and the Feraligatr. So we built a pretty fun squad, and I guess we can just go ahead and hop into it really. We have this Mega Venusaur, so we've got a little bit of speed investment. This allows us to, to make sure that we're not speed crept by anything weird. We're always gonna, unless he's like max speed on some things. But if he's just trying to speed creep us, we should be able to outpace that. And we are max HP, nearly max defense. We can take hits from Feraligatr all day long. We can take hits from Weavile, Swampert, Gligar, Porygon 2, Ferrothorn, Tapu Fini all day long. And as long as Charizard's not set up, we can take hits from it as well. This thing is a fucking monster. Thick, fat, man. It's just amazing. So basically you get cut down to 2 weaknesses, Flying type and Psychic type. My opponent doesn't have a Psychic type. He does have Honchkrow, which is a Flying type. But I don't necessarily know if it's Honchkrow is going to come. I do have, countermeasures for it. Really solid ones at that. Being, Fairy types, Steel types, things like that, and I have an Electros, which is pretty nice, and would give me like Volt Switch momentum. So I do expect Gligar to come, so that he can prevent I don't know if he'll necessarily bring both as Violet users. I don't necessarily think that. I think that's kind of a weakness because, once you get your Violet knocked off, you lose a ton of bulk. Like, absolutely, it's huge how much the Violet makes a difference. So we have Leech Seed. We can leech, basically everything except Ferrothorn. Um, Anything that wants to switch in is going to get leeched. And we have the Sludge Bomb. It hits hard versus his entire team outside of Gligar and Swampert. But what are they really doing? Well, I mean, Gligar could maybe be like a acrobatic set with maybe Swords Dance or something like that. It could be a problem. But I can throw off a Leech Seed, switch around, whatever. Sludge Bomb's going to hit Mega Charizard, Tapu Fini, Porygon 2, Feraligatr, Butterfree, Weavile, and Honchkrow hard enough. Leech Seed's going to beat the Swampert down, going to beat the Ferrothorn down with the Hidden Power Fire, and we've got Synthesis for longevity. And the Spadef investment means we can't, Tapu Fini can't do anything. All it can do is click Nature's Madness and potentially taunt us from clicking Synthesis. But if he does taunt us, then we can always switch out and stuff like that. Or just scare him out. Like, I don't think he can really afford to click Taunt versus a Mega Venusaur because Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, it's too problematic for him, in my opinion. So, next up, we have Manaphy, which is a leftover set. We have Tailglow 3 attacks this week with max speed and max HP, so we can take hits from basically everything at +3 as long as Ferrothorn isn't like an Akaberry or like max HP, max Spadef. We should be able to knock it out at +3 after a Tailglow. Surf 2-hit KOs Charizard after a Tailglow. Energy Ball 2-hit KOs Tapu Fini. Ferrothorn's at least 2-hit KO'd by Hidden Power Fire, if not OHKO'd. Porygon 2. Depends on how Spadef it is, really. And Gligar is getting dropped by +3 Surf. Feraligatr doesn't appreciate a +3 Energy Ball, and it just keeps going on and on and on. Swampert, Honchkrow, Weavile, none of them are bulky enough to take on like a +3 Manaphy, even without special attack investment. So Manaphy here could put in the work. I thought about running something like a Rendo Berry or maybe a Citrus Berry to be able to take like a +1 Dragon Claw from Charizard and be able to at least hit it with 2 Surfs or something like that before being knocked out. And same thing for Weavile, but Weavile is most likely going to be clicking knockoff until. Well, it's tough for Weavile too. It's tough for Weavile. So yeah, pretty solid mon in this matchup. Definitely, has a lot of merit, and I think it could put in the finest of work. So next up we have Cobalion, and we have this. This thing is a monster. We have I forget exactly how much speed investment. Well, we're outpacing base 100s, and same thing for Manaphy, speed time with base 100s, and we have this is sort of a win condition, and the Chople Berry is there for Weavile. If Weavile doesn't have low kick or low sweep or something like that, it can't hit us very hard. He does have the potential to be a Z-move user, so all-out pummeling could be a thing, and that'll blow through my Chople Berry after a close combat defense drop. But other than that, like Swords Dancing Up, clicking Close Combat, and Iron Head is just really, really solid versus his team. He does have Gligar, which can come in and kind of semi-check me with Earthquake, but I do have the Magnet Rise, and I'm, way faster than a Gligar could be. So, unless it's Scarf, which actually isn't a bad idea. But Magnet Rise here is really, really nice because if he does bring the Gligar in, and he only has Earthquake to hit me with, and I click the Magnet Rise, I can just set up on it until he's in a bad position. And close combat, it's doing a chunk load to his team. Like, he doesn't have a solid switch in. I guess Tapu Fini would be like a max HP, max defense. Tapu Fini can take close combats and Iron Head, since Iron Head is neutral. But outside of that, it's really, really putting in the work. And the Chople Berry, like I mentioned, his I outpaced everything except Weavile. So if his Weavile comes in and try to revenge kill me, and I'm able to knock it out, then I could potentially sweep with a +2 Cobalion, which would be pretty nice there. We have enough HP investment with defense investment with the Chople Berry so that we can take a banded low kick from Weavile, and that's pretty dope in my opinion. So, and we have the justified ability, so that if we come in on Weavile's knockoff, we get our Chople Berry knocked off, we do get an attack right. Our attack will be raised there, and we can potentially avoid clicking close combat so that Even if he is choice banded, we could potentially survive because of our investment. So, that being said, next up we have one of our win conditions alongside of Cabalion. We have a Flyenium Z Talonflame here with Taunt, Bulk Up, Roost, and Brave Bird. And we're, I think, same speed as Cabalion, outpacing, well, 1 point slower than Cabalion because it can afford it and put that 1 point elsewhere. We're sitting at 329 speed, which outpaces base 100s by 1 point. And we can taunt those. We can taunt everything, basically. Prevent stealth rocks, prevent setup, things like that. We can roost, we can bulk up, we can prevent like Thunderwave or Toxic and status. This is a really, really solid mon. And after a bulk up, the Supersonic Sky Strike's running through a lot of things, and I could potentially use a lot of his team as setup fodder thanks to Taunt. So if he has something like, and I can prevent Charizard from setting up a Dragonance. So if he's got Ferrothorn, I can taunt it. He can't Thunderwave me if he's like an Akaberry set, you know, to take the Flare Blitz and then Thunderwave me to cripple me. I can taunt him and just prevent that. I can prevent Leech Seed, Stealth Rock, Spikes. I can prevent Gligar from roosting. I can prevent Porygon 2 from recovering up. Porygon 2 can't click Toxic or Thunderwave. Gligar can't click Toxic. Feraligatr can't set up in front of me. Butterfree can't set up in front of me. That's another reason I brought Taunt. Because if he brings Butterfree, I could potentially just lead off with the Talonflame and prevent that thing from, you know, being a huge issue. And then same thing for Honchkrow. If he wants to, maybe wants to click Sucker Punch or something like that, or maybe Swords Dance, I can always taunt or roost up on the Sucker Punch. I can bulk up, and this thing's really, really solid. Like, it has a phenomenal matchup in this matchup, in my opinion. So we'll not talk about it, and we'll wait for the game. But next up we have Donphan, and we got the Eye Papa Berry here with the Sturdy ability, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Knockoff, and Rapid Spin. Basically, I need Stealth Rocks, and I need a way to check Mega Charizard X. So this thing comes in, it can take a Flare Blitz, it can take a +1 Flare Blitz, pop my berry, and I get my health back, and then I'm still a solid check. So I can set up my Stealth Rocks, click Earthquake versus everything, Knockoff spam versus, you know, Porygon 2 and Gligar. This is a really solid mon in my opinion. Got the Rapid Spin to support Talonflame, since I am using Talonflame as sort of my my win condition here this week, and this thing supports it so well. Like, I want to draft Mega Charizard X and Donphan in the future because I think they're such a great pair. We have enough defense investment and HP investment to make sure that, you know, if he's no bulk Charizard and he's just like a Dragonance offensive Charizard, then we're able to at least 2-hit KO, maybe Oko after Stealth Rocks with Earthquake, and we have enough speed investment so that we're not, you know, being sped crap by something like Porygon 2 or like a really, really, really slow Gligar or Swampert or something like that. But yeah, that's going to be it for Donphan, and we can move on to our last bring this week. We're bringing a Wish, Protect, Licky Licky with Dragon Tail and Knockoff. So if you look at my EVs, it's really, really insane. This allows me, you know, Dragon Tail, unless he's a really bulky Charizard, Dragon Tail is always breaking a sub, and it will always be able to, you know, knock him out. If he sets up a Dragonance in front of me, he's going to be hit with the Dragon Tail, and he's going to be phased out unless I miss, which would be a fucking pain in the ass. And this is another mon with Knockoff. I could have brought Ice Beam, I could have brought Toxic, but he does have Tapu Fini, so I don't really expect too much status in this matchup. And we're actually oblivious so that we can bypass Taunt on things like Tapu Fini, Gligar, etc., and Weavile. And Knockoff and Dragon Tail, just basically to prevent Charizard from ever like having a super solid, easy chance to set up or anything like that. Max HP with quite a bit of defense investment, but we've got quite a bit of speed as well. And I think this thing and Donphan set at the same speed. So if Donphan outspeeds something, then I know Licky Licky will, and vice versa. So yeah, that's going to be the team, and we can go ahead and hop into the replay, and we'll be right back. So here we are with the replay, and my opponent chooses to bring his Eviolite dual core with Porygon 2 and Gligar. He's got potential Z Weavile, potential Z Butterfree, so I don't know which is which, and then he's got Ferrothorn and the Mega Charizard X. No Tapu Fini, which is, that's interesting, excuse me. Excuse me. I think my opponent's going to bring some kind of, you know, Thunderwave tech on something like Porygon 2 or Ferrothorn. I felt like I guess he doesn't bring Tapu Fini because of Mega Venusaur mostly, but I feel like he's got a hidden tech. I think he wants to paralyze my Manaphy, my Mega Venu, and then potentially my Talonflame. So he's got 2 potential Stealth Rockers and a Spiker, both which are pretty solid leads. He also has a lead in like a Sash Butterfree with like Sleep Powder and Quiver Dance, or something like that. Excuse me once again. And then the Mega Charizard X could be like a Dragon Dance variant. It could be a Will-O-Wisp variant. Donphan's a pretty solid switch in, but if he burns me, then he can potentially use me as setup fodder if he's like max HP, max defense. So that would be scary. He's got a couple different lead options, but I feel like my best lead is Talonflame because I can just taunt whatever he wants to lead with. If he wants to lead with a Rocker or a setup user or the Butterfree. So yeah, so I'm going to lead off with Talonflame here, and he's actually going to lead off with his Charizard. So I'm gonna taunt this thing and then set up a bulk up, but he switches out, so the Gligar is taunted. So the way he brings this in and then clicks the Rock Slide immediately, and he gets a critical hit, but it didn't matter. I guess it somewhat matters, but it don't matter. Excuse me. So he hard switched it in, and like he had to have Rock Slide or Stone Edge, but for some reason I was under the impression that he may be Choice Scarf because, like I mentioned in the builder, it's a pretty cool brain because he could outpace my Cobalion before a potential Magnet Rise. He could outpace my Talonflame and hit me with a Stone Edge or a Rock Slide, and things like that, and could always revenge kill potential mons that I have, like Manaphy if I'm weakened, or like a setup Cobalion or something like that. And then he could U-turn versus things like Latios and Sneasel and Electros, things like that, as long as I'm not clicking like Ice Shard and stuff. So I'm thinking he could potentially be Scarf here. So I want to see what he does here, and if he switches out, he might confirm it. So he does switch out there, and so I go straight for the Tail Glove. I'm still under the impression that Gligar may be Scarf. So he reveals Aqua Berry here on the Ferrothorn and is able to bop me with the Power Whip there. I was at max HP, so maybe that Rock Slide crit mattered. I'm not sure if he would have knocked me out. It depends on his investment. But anyways, that close combat base 120 stab bounced off the Gligar. So I'm going to hard switch out here into my Leaky Leaky as he goes for the Earthquake. And as you can see, he's not changing his moves up. So I'm wondering, is this thing Choice Scarf? I don't know. So what I'm just going to do here, I think I'm just going to throw off a Wish and see what my opponent wants to do. He goes out into his Ferrothorn. I could pack Flamethrower. He might want to scout for that, but he doesn't actually. So I'm going to go out to my Venusaur here, and I'm going to throw off a Hidden Power Fire because that would have knocked out the Ferrothorn. And he goes into his Porygon 2, and I throw off a Leech Seed here. And he reveals the Thunder Wave, just like I predicted. Yeah, he didn't bring the Tapu Fini, so yeah, very nice there. I go for the Leech once again, and he actually gets the full pair, and then goes for an Air Slash and gets another full pair. I knew I could survive, and I just want to get a little damage off on it, so that's the reason I stayed in there. I hard switch into Licky Licky here as he goes for the Quiver. I was going to Dragon Tail him out, and he goes back into Pharaoh, and now he brings the Gligar back in. And he hard switches once again. So I'm still maybe thinking, I know he doesn't have U-turn, or he would be using that to hard switch and stuff. And I'm going to catch a Wish here with my Mega Venusaur as he gets up another Spike, which is kind of problematic. But I'm able to throw off a Leech Seed here, and it lands on the Porygon 2 finally. And he hard switches into the Gligar, and I predict that. And I'm going to go for another Leech, and I'm going to go for a switch back out into Licky Licky here as he doubles into Porygon 2. So now I'm going to click Knockoff and reveal that I'm going to get rid of these Evilots. He misses a Thunder Wave here, and since he had the full pairs earlier, I'm not going to allow that to be paralyzed. And I'm going to hard switch out into my Venusaur here and take advantage of it since he was taking advantage of me. And we get off a Leech Seed here, and he hard switches once again, and we're going to go out into our Donphan. We want to get rid of these Spikes, and we want to get our Rocks up. So that's what we're going to do. He goes for the Foul Play, and it bounces off because we have barely any attack investment. Bounces off, and we're going to click Knockoff here, predicting his Gligar switch, but he actually stays in and goes for the Thunder Wave. I'm not sure what he was predicting there, but I'm going to go back out into Mega Venusaur here as he predicts another switch and goes for another Thunder Wave, but not too big of a deal. I can just go into Mega Venusaur here. He does switch out into the Gligar and reveals Defog here, and you're going to see he switches out once again, so I'm under the impression that this thing is Rock Slide, Earthquake, Defog, and some kind of coverage move, and he's Choice Scarf. That's the only thing I can think of right now. So He brings in his Charizard, and I'm going to go for the Dragon Tail. I can't let this thing sit up on me. And I miss. I missed. So, Kirby, he doesn't know Pokemon well and doesn't know me well. He gives a premature GG. And I switch out to my Donphan here. Force out the Charizard because it's, not too big of an issue. I can click knockoff here, get rid of this thing's potential Scarf or Violet. And I go for my Rock Series. He actually stays... He reveals that he's not, finally, he roosted up and then he roosted and then defogged. Yeah, that's right. I get rid of his item. He was not Scarf, he was a Violet. And here I'm going to switch out into my Cobalion, and he's going to hard switch out into Ferrothorn as I go for the Magnet Rise. Now I'm just going to click Close Combat. That 100% knocks this thing out. And now, this is where things get a little bit interesting. What's he going to do to revenge kill me? He has to go Weavile and click Low Kick. He has to. He doesn't have another option. Porygon 2 gets dropped by the Close Combat. Zard takes a hefty amount of damage and then can kill me with Flare Blitz, meaning he's going to end up fainting to recoil, or he could go out into Butterfree and take an Iron Head, or he could go out into Weavile like I mentioned. And I didn't want. I guess it's actually a misplay on my part. It's actually just a bad play on my part here. You're going to see here. I'm going to click the Iron Head instead of the Close Combat for some reason. I'm not sure why. But yeah, my Chople Berry clicks there. I survive, but my Iron Head didn't knock out this Weavile. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but I should have clicked Close Combat 100%. I'm going to go into Talonflame though. I realize that he is a Choice Banded Weavile, so I'm going to go into the Talonflame here. I'm just going to click Bulk Up. He switches out into the Gligar, doubles into his Porygon 2 as I click Bulk Up once again, and he goes for the Foul Play. But as you can see, I could roost Foul Play off. And he actually gets burned, so it's even easier to roost this shit off. Foul Play's doing nothing now, and I can just continuously set up on Porygon 2, taunt it, set up, taunt it, set up. He brings in the Weavile here. All I got to do is roost up, but he flinches me. And on the following turn, he misses, and I'm able to roost up on this turn. So basically like he didn't get the flinch. And now he goes for the Ice Crash once again, gets a flinch, goes for the Ice Crash once again, and I'm able to roost up this turn. And now he's going to go for the Ice Crash again. He is banded, so keep that in mind. I go for the Bulk Up again. Now I can roost up, and he goes for the Ice Crash, and I'm able to roost up. No flinch there, thankfully. And he goes for the Ice Crash once again. Adamant on clicking this, Ice Crash here, and I'm going to try to roost it off. And now I'm in a position where I have to not get flinched. So no flinch there. We're able to roost up once again. He goes for it once again, and we're roosting up, trying to avoid flinches. He gets another one here, and thankfully I'm able to roost up once again, finally. And basically, once I get to full, I can knock this thing out, or try to set up another Bulk Up, which I guess setting up another Bulk Up is my best play. He's actually going to end up running out of Icicle Crashes here, I believe. I can just keep roosting up. This thing can't do much damage to me. He has to switch out there. He ran out of Icicle Crashes, and now I'm able to I can taunt this thing. I can, basically taunt is my best play in case he was able to survive, but I'm not sure he would have been able to survive any hit there. But yeah, taunt him to prevent the Thunder Wave. He switches out to Gligar once again. I'm going to go for the Supersonic Sky Strike here, knock this bad boy out, and then Talonflame should be on its way to picking up 5 kills. And that should be that. He goes for the knockoff there. It does nothing. Gets the Flame Body Burn once again. Able to knock that bad boy out. And now everything's basically in range. All Sashes potentially broke. And then Zard slow, Porygon 2 slow. And we're just able to run through there. Thankfully, we weren't flinched enough to, it be problematic. But yeah, we're just able to run through his team with Talonflame. Like I mentioned, this was a solid win condition in this matchup. And the reason we brought Donphan to make sure Rock stayed off our side of the field. Really, really solid there. And Talonflame leads the league in kills now, I believe. And has the most kills in one match so far this season. So that's pretty dope. Carnage everywhere, baby. Good game to Predator. Very solid game. And your prep was interesting. You had the Ockerberry on Ferrothorn. That was nice. Thunder Wave on the Porygon 2 was super dope too. Banded Weavile was nice so that you could use Butterfree as a Z-move user. And I'm not sure what the Zard set was, but I was really happy with my prep. I felt like Cabalion and Talonflame really put in the work. Manaphy even put in the early game work to put, Ferrothorn in range of basically everything with a nice Aquaberry, so that I didn't have to take, Flare or Brave Bird Recoil, potential Rocky Helmet, and Iron Barbs. That was just too much. And since it was a neutral type attack, I would have to probably hit it twice unless I was set up as much as I was. So getting rid of Ferrothorn or weakening it early was really, really solid. Really solid match. I felt like I played and prepped really well this match, and hopefully we can continue this. We've won our first 2 games in the NNDL, and hopefully we can win our 3rd match, and that's going to be against none other than AAA Battery. And yeah, that's going to be it. Phone's ringing right now, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.